Good evening everyone, it's the 22nd of the 2nd 2012 at about 8:20 p.m. Okay, firstly I'd like to point out a stationary rain area currently occurring over the northern southeast coast, northern Darling Downs area. There's been some pretty significant falls recorded in these areas, up to 75 mil. You can also see in an area around Maroochydore, Caloundra, which is forming there. This is a combination of a surface trough and an upper level trough as well, coming across the region. I do expect these to continue for a number of hours yet. They actually seem to be thickening up at the moment. I'll move on and show you the sounding, or the temperature sounding, as to what's occurring in the atmosphere over these areas. You can see down on the low level winds, they're coming in from the east, down there like that. If north was always up, and you can see the turning, so they're coming in down the bottom, turning and wrapping back around. So you've got some stationary thunderstorms in the low levels, or rain areas in the low levels, and then also some rain being carted off through the mid and upper levels off the top of these cells as well, being carted away towards the southeast. The grey line is instability, providing that it's above that red line there, and you can see that it is. So we do have some instability in the atmosphere causing this rain area. The two red lines are humidity, and you can see that they're very close together all the way up, so there's a lot of humidity and a lot of moisture there. I haven't really focused on that at the moment because there is a bigger event forecast which has been really giving everyone a headache, because the models have been very, well, they haven't agreed on it. They acknowledge it, but they are struggling with the position. The radar there too, that's from WeatherZone Pro. They supply a Pro version, and it's very good. There's so much information on the Pro version that I don't use half of it. So, right, this is the WeatherZone Water Vapor Loop. Water Vapor Loop shows you the moisture in the atmosphere. You can see that streaming in across southern areas of Queensland into southeast Queensland here as well. You can see some storms fire up there in the white blobs. The dark areas are cold pools of air, and you can see there's a cold pool of air sitting here over the northwest New South Wales. This is going to be what is going to be responsible for the rain event over SEQ, believe it or not. What this cold pool of air here is in the black is forecast to do is move across here to the east, as you can see that it's doing. It's going to move across here to the east, pull up around here somewhere, stop moving, and then start to come up into SEQ and then back to the west again. Pretty rare that they come over us and then hook back around. What they normally do is they come in over this area here, in and around Charleville and Goondiwindi, and they sit there and become stationary, and they start to spin like that. So it's pretty rare that this one's actually going to come in and do a hook back, and I think that's why the models have been struggling. I'll show you the GFS computer model, brought to you by BSCH. The guys, they are Brisbane Storm Chasers on Facebook as well, and this is their website, bsch.au.com, I'm pretty sure, yes, no, .com.au. Either way, if you Google them, they'll come up. This is 4 AM, blues instability. You can see off the coast here of Brisbane, there's instability there at 4 AM on Friday morning. Okay, Stormbird says 4 PM Friday night into Saturday night, and going by this model, he's spot on. We'll scroll through and I'll show you the instability as it approaches the coast on Friday morning, 10 AM. You can see the blue areas coming across into SEQ, into the Downs, 4 PM Friday. 4 AM Saturday, still unstable there, increasing again, 10 AM Saturday. 4 PM Saturday, 4 AM Sunday, 10 AM Sunday, still got instability, 4 PM Sunday, broad areas of instability. I think that even goes right up through the whole of Queensland. So you can see this area of instability. Now what causes that? There's that cold pool I spoke to you about on the water vapor loop. That's the temperature on the charts. It's -13, so it's quite a significant little cold pool, sitting bang smack over SEQ. Don't normally get them there. They normally hang out here to the west and slip away to the south and up north, but very rare to get them over the top of us like this. I'll scroll through this one and show you the movements of the upper low, which becomes what they call cut off. Means it can't normally travel in a normal direction as it would from west to east. It's going to get forced back to the west. That was 4 AM on Friday, 10 AM, 4 PM Friday, it's moving west. 4 AM Saturday, it's out over St George, west of St George. 4 PM Saturday, it's down Walgett, but it's moving west, southwest. Okay, the wind charts. These are the winds at 9:25, which are at about 1,000 feet. This is 4 AM on Friday. See the dip in the lines through this region here? That marks a surface trough. Alright, and it's got quite a pressure gradient on the bottom. The winds speed up on the bottom of the trough, indicating a pressure gradient there. Okay, I'll show you what happens to this. 4 AM Friday, 10 AM Friday. Look at it coming onto the coast from the ocean. 1 PM Friday, it's approaching the southern Queensland coast. By 4 PM Friday, this trough is on the coast from Bundaberg south to Coffs Harbour. Okay? It does weaken out as it crosses the coast and becomes a more general onshore flow as you scroll on through the timelines on Saturday at 4 PM, Sunday 4 PM. Still all onshore, so you've got plenty of moisture coming in all weekend in the low levels. Mid-levels, 4 AM Friday, mid-levels, upper level atmosphere. Look at the circulation there. Upper level low, cut off, can't go anywhere. It's got to go west. What we look for here is these winds coming in off the ocean. So at 4 AM on Friday, they're just starting to hook back around the low and start to come in. Let's scroll. 10 AM. Winds are coming onshore Brisbane in the upper levels. The low's moving west. Winds are starting to really ramp up through here 1 PM on Friday from, say, Gympie South to Lismore, onshore, Coffs Harbour. Upper level winds onshore, loads of moisture. 4 PM, you can see the little low slipping out to the west. 7 PM Friday. On 7 PM Friday, you can see a tightening in the wind barbs through here and a real draw in around this low now. Big centered low. I don't like the look of that. I've seen some pretty big rainfall totals occur out of these systems when the winds come in from there. I don't want to alarm anyone. I won't mention figures. We'll let it crunch up a few more numbers in the next few days before we start jumping on some significant rainfall figures. You can keep scrolling on. The winds just remain onshore in the upper levels right out to Sunday, which is pretty crazy. Normally these systems are a 24, 48 hour thing and the winds swing around to the west, but not this one. Precip charts, 180 hours, GFS precip charts. You can see a bullseye target of 300 just offshore from North Straddie, Cape Morton. Okay, this is coming onto the coast. That would indicate that surface trough is coming onto the coast all the way down to Coffs, as I mentioned, on the wind charts. So you can see what it does in the rainfall reflections. And also it goes in over the downs, 50 mils, up around Emerald 100, down the coast, very close to the coast at Rocky, Bundy. That's because those winds are coming almost parallel to the coast, up here. Whereas down here, south of Gympie, remember I said south of Gympie, they start to come on here and drag it all in. Right, that's those ones. This is the BOM, the PME model from BOM. It's also been struggling with this event, but it has nailed a target of, say, 50. These are conservative targets. That is for Saturday. Okay, so it's showing that up until, say, 10 AM Saturday. So that includes from 10 AM Friday night, Saturday morning till 10 AM, it's going for 50 mil in this region here, say Brisbane, 25 Gold Coast, conservative. So you can, the way I look at it is you can almost guarantee and lock it in that you're going to get at least 50 mil in those areas and 25 in those and so forth and so on. I do use this as a base model for base rainfall amounts. As one of the other high resolution models also brought to you by Weatherzone, this is the Access R. It's also showing areas of 100 mil plus up until Saturday morning 10 AM over SEQ. This is showing a little bit north of Brizzy as well. However, I do believe it will extend to the south. These models are struggling with this event. And a couple of the other models, the EC model, it shows you relative humidity. If we go on Friday, you can see the dark green area showing quite a significant amount of moisture being brought in from the ocean. Little wind barbs are coming in. Okay, on Sunday, it's got a little concentrated level around SEQ. Monday, SEQ. All these winds are coming in like that. Now, when the floods and that everything with the floods occurred out for Western Queensland, I'll quickly bring it up as a bit of trivia for you and show you some stuff. We'll go the 850 winds and we'll go them at 4 AM Saturday or even 4 PM. Okay, what happened in Western Queensland the other week, we had a similar sort of a setup with the upper level low trough in through the area, but you had all these winds feeding in and then turning back around. Okay, whereas with this one, you can see they're just a general flow, so things aren't going to be as concentrated out in these areas with all the thunderstorms and that sort of thing. There's no trough affecting the area at this stage, so no really high rate rainfalls out over the rest of Queensland, more concentrated on SEQ. I did forget to do something, and that was bring up the plot when the trough crossed the coast in SEQ. I'll drop the plot. Let's go Brisbane target. What I'm looking for here is the winds again. First thing I'll look at is the winds. All the winds are coming in southeast, east, northeast, northeast, north as you go up with height. Full rotation. Look at that, round and go. Round this way, back down on itself. Gold Coast and Brisbane floods early on this month. This is the sort of setup. This one's not quite as significant, at this stage. It could go either way. It could dump 100 mil, 150 mil in the period from Friday morning to Saturday morning. Okay, because of this reason. The storms aren't going anywhere. They're coming in off the ocean. They hit land, they spin around, they go up, they come back on themselves. So they don't move. You can see the instability line there. Moisture, not too bad, dries out a bit in the middle, but there's enough instability there to cause these thunderstorms to go up and spin around and drop back on themselves, which is occurring at the moment also over the Maroochydore Caloundra area, hinterland, and over this area around northern Darling Downs. There's been some totals of 75 mil, as I mentioned. Alright, that's enough for me. That's 13 minutes. I want to try and get it down before 15, so I'll keep refining this. This is a base forecast, this is an extended. The bomber on board, they've just updated their forecast this afternoon to incorporate GFS. It's probably one of the first times that I've seen the bomb go with this GFS model solely and wholly. It seems to be like that in their forecast. I mean, they do have other models. So let's see how GFS goes with this one. Alright, cheers guys.